welcome back to my channel. And if you are visiting my channel for the first time, you are also highly welcome. Let's look at how to identify whether a clavicle is of the right or of the left side. In case we are asked during examination, let's try and highlight the factors that should be considered in determining the side identification of the clavicle. In determining the side identification of the clavicle, anatomical position is key. So it is very important for us to be able to place the clavicle in its correct anatomical position. And here we'll be highlighting some factors that should be considered in this regard. First, it is important for us to place the sternal or the medial hand in its correct anatomical position, which is on the medial side. If you try to use this image by the side, this is the clavicle here, harrowed in dotted black. We know that the clavicle is a modified long bone that is horizontally placed, and this is what is harrowed at this point. And because it is a long bone, it is seen to have two ends, while in between the two ends, we have the body or the shaft. So at this medial side that is harrowed in green is where we have the sternal hand of the clavicle. And this is the sternal hand because it is through this hand that it connects with the sternum. And this is where we have the sternum here, harrowed in black. So you see that the sternal hand of the clavicle is connected to the sternum, and it is specifically connected to the manubrium of the sternum. The manubrium of the sternum is the superior sub-region of the sternum, and this is where this arrow is pointing. And on its superior lateral surface is where we have the connection or the articulation point for the sternal hand of the clavicle, and this is where it forms the sternoclavicular joint. So this sternal hand needs to be placed medially, and this is what is projected here in this image. Well, on the other side, we have the acromial hand, and this is what is harrowed here in yellow. This acromial hand is also referred to as the lateral hand because it is laterally placed, and this is in its anatomical position. So this acromial hand also must be placed in its anatomical position, which means that it must be placed laterally. This acromial hand is what connects the clavicle to the scapula. This is where we have the scapula at this region that is harrowed here in black. The scapula is seen at the posterolateral surface of the trunk, and it is seen to have a projection that is referred to as the acromion. It is on this acromion that the acromial hand of the clavicle connects with to form the acromioclavicular joint. So you see that this should be placed laterally for it to be able to make the connection point or the articulation point with the acromion, because it is on this lateral region that we have the placement of the scapula. So it is important for us to place the two ends of the clavicle in their correct anatomical position. This is the first factor that should be considered. If you try to extract the clavicle, this is the kind of configuration that you would see. At this region that is harrowed in green is where we say we have the medial hand, and this is what is projected here in this image. Structurally, the medial hand of the clavicle is seen to be rounded or quadrangular in shape. It can also be seen to take a pyramidal-like shape. So you see that it takes this kind of configuration. And if you know the kind of shape that the sternal hand presents, you would be able to place it correctly in its anatomical position. While on this other hand here, at this lateral region, is where we have the acromial hand. We already said that the acromial hand is laterally placed, but structurally, it is seen to be flat and also broad. And this is what is seen here around this image. So if we know the shape of both the sternal and also the acromial hand, we will be able to place it in its correct anatomical position. Another factor that is important for us to consider is the anterior border of the clavicle. It is very important for us to know which is the anterior border and also which is the posterior border, because this border presents curvatures. So in the anterior border, we have a specific curvature that is seen along the medial 2/3 and also in the lateral 1/3. And we would be establishing that so that we'll be able to place the clavicle in its correct anatomical position, where the anterior border will truly be facing the anterior direction. So if you try to divide the clavicle into the medial 2/3 and the lateral 1/3, on the medial 2/3, specifically on the anterior border, it is seen to present a convex curvature. If you try to use this lower image, this is where we have the medial 2/3, and this is the anterior view at the front, Behind is where we have the posterior view. So in the anterior view, you see that it is seen to present a convex curvature at this anterior border. And if you go to the lateral 1/3, specifically also in the anterior border, you see that it presents a concave curvature. You see that in the anterior borders, it presents two curvatures. If we know this basis, it will be able for us to also place the correct border in their correct position. Then the next factor that should be considered are also some points around the inferior border of the clavicle. So let's try and use this image to illustrate the different features that will be seen in the inferior surface of the clavicle. So this is the medial side. Remember we said that the medial side is where we have the sternal end. So this sternal end is directed medially because it is through this end that it connects with the sternum, specifically the manubrium of the sternum. On this lateral end here is where it connects with the acromion of the scapula. So if you try to look at the inferior surface of the clavicle, at the inferior surface of the medial 2/3, there is a costal tuberosity. This is the medial side. So this is the medial 2/3. And this is where we have the costal tuberosity. This costal tuberosity is rough, and this is what creates the insertion point of the costoclavicular ligament. If you go more laterally, still within the medial 2/3, you have the subclavian groove. The subclavian groove is a groove for the subclavius. So if you try to also place these two projections also in their correct anatomical position. So if you go more laterally, on the lateral 1/3, you have the trapezoid ridge. And this is the trapezoid ridge here, harrowed at this point. This is what creates the insertion point for the trapezoid ligament. And if you go more medially, you have the conoid tubercle. This is the conoid tubercle here, also harrowed at this region. This conoid tubercle and the trapezoid ridge are seen at the inferior surface of the lateral 1/3. And this is what is projected here in this image. The conoid groove is what creates the insertion point for the conoid ligament. So it is important that we also check that these two projections are also placed in their correct anatomical position. So if we put all this together, as we have highlighted in this slide, first placing the hands in their correct anatomical position, also establishing the anterior and the posterior surfaces and the distinct features that they present in terms of their curvatures, and also other factors that we have listed in this slide, it will be easy for us to determine whether a clavicle is of the right or the left side. This is the right clavicle, and on this other side is where we have the left clavicle. If you look at it, you see that the sternal end is medially directed. If you also look at the anterior border, you see that the anterior border of the medial 2/3 is convex, while the anterior border of the lateral 1/3 is concave. I hope you find this video useful, and thanks for watching.